and welcome to Maplestory 2 video, and today we're going to be talking a little bit more about Berserker and showcasing a little bit more of the rotation and such. You guys have been requesting it in the comment section in the previous video, so we're going to showcase that today on this video. I did have some connection issues today, so I haven't really been doing much leveling my ults, etc. So I guess this should make up for all the farming that I missed out. So going off, I do want to mention, which I forgot in the previous video, someone mentioned, how do you have so much skill points? And you have more than me, you're at 50, and the reason for that is go to your trophies. And some of the skill points are locked behind trophies. So doing skill points, filtering it over here as I show you, and you'll find a lot of trophies here. So you're gonna have most of these done when you reach the 50. However, for example, this dungeon or these 3 dungeons, you're only gonna be doing 7th floor when you do the main story. So the only remaining that you have is the 4th floor and the elevator. Or it might be 7th floor and the elevator, but either way, you're gonna have to do 2 dungeons in the Golden Tower to unlock 1 skill point. You also have another one where you need to do, well, I think this is gonna be covered up by itself from main story quest, but if not, you're gonna have to do Forest of Chaos and Ignicore once at least for the skill point. And for this one, you're gonna have Ludibrium Clock Tower already done by the main story, but you're gonna need to do Moonlight Fortress and Mura Station or Mura Studio to obtain 1 skill point as well. Now, I would not recommend doing these dungeons when you have your daily dungeons, because you're gonna need your daily dungeons and weekly dungeons to, you know, do the level 50 dungeons and hope for a, you know, purple item or epic item for progressing. But once you've filled up your daily or your weekly, go ahead and do these dungeons, because there's nothing else to do for you for today. Then obviously farm these trophies. Let's see, I believe one of the hardest, or not hardest, but the one of the long trophy that you're gonna have to do is the Trophy Maniac. And for that, you just need to obtain a total of 500 to obtain all of the skill points. So that's something you can aim for. Another one is, the more you play, the more XP you're gonna accumulate, and you're gonna need this amount of experience points to get 1 skill point. This is probably gonna be the last one that you're gonna get, unless you played a lot and you haven't really done the dungeons. But another one is to kill insect enemies. Killing insect enemies will get you a skill point. You need to have 100 kills, and for that, my recommendation through the map would be the West Wind Hill. So in West Wind Hill, you're going to find some scorpions, you're going to find some blue snails. These 2 are fairly easy to kill, and you can kill them pretty fast, and they spawn pretty decently as well. Otherwise, just look up on any map, and you'll see what kind of enemies you're gonna find on the right side. So let's say if you're, for example, finding more humanoids for farming that potion solvent, look up for, you know, a map where you have a lot of them with humanoid type, for example. Now that's a little bit off course or off topic regarding the Berserker, and obviously the last trophy for the last skill point would be killing 3,000 enemies, which is what you're gonna do eventually when you play the game. So now that we covered that up, we're gonna showcase the build. I'm sticking with the Berserker build that I have right now, just to showcase a little bit of the Pyros dungeon, and you guys get to see how I do my Pyros dungeons. We're gonna go in and enter alone. I'll just showcase, let's say, 3 minutes of the battle. I know it's not the full battle, but just to showcase how I play with my current build. A lot of things are gonna be very repetitive, but I'm gonna try to make 2 builds in this video, one with the Void Slash, which is more popular, or one of the popular choices as well, but for this one I'm gonna cover up the Groundbreaker build. So starting off, dash in. You know he's gonna dash towards you, so start to spin around and, you know, work around him. Nothing to be afraid of. He's gonna charge to the left. We have 10 stacks soon, we're just gonna Groundbreaker. And even if you get burnt, you lifesteal, cleanse your fire at the ferry. So you're gonna lose out your 10 stacks because he did not want to come down. And that's an unfortunate move. But we'll work on the stacks by spinning. Keep spinning till 7, 8. Dodge away because he might hit you, but start to use your Groundbreaker otherwise at level 10 or 10 stacks. Another thing is, if you are running low on the spirit, try to use your Bloodlust while you're fighting. You notice that the boss will start to face towards one direction, just wait for him and time in your Groundbreaker. That's pretty much what I do. I usually try to stay at the south, look at my timer on the Dark Aura, Groundbreak him before he arrives, and you're gonna be landing the hit to refresh your buff. And you might have noticed I'm using more of the shift attack, and the shift attack is my cross slash. Cross slash is pretty much what I prefer to use, other than the Void Slash for this battle at the moment. Not too bad with the stamina recovery that we have right now. You might be worried about my health. Sometimes the lifesteal doesn't proc because I missed out the attack, but you can lifesteal, don't worry, don't panic. The boss doesn't really do much. And always try to stay inside Pyros' body, because if you're inside his body, he won't be able to hit you. So he'll just charge away. That's one of the tips that you can do when you fight Pyros. If you do get hit by the fire, don't worry, one stack doesn't hurt you at all. You can just lifesteal it back. That's the the pro with being or using Berserker. So you may notice that I'm standing in front of the boss sometimes and smacking, taking that fire. It really doesn't matter at this point because you're not getting knockbacks when you use Groundbreaker. That's the most or the best value of fighting Pyros when you're trying to keep the stack up. You can take damage, you can stand in front of him, take damage. As long as you keep the 10 stacks, that's more valuable than losing it out. And you may notice that I'm using Cross Slash over Void Slash sometimes when he's charging me, and that's also because of the immunity of the knockback. So we're gonna wait for him, smack him in the face right in front of him, lifesteal, cleanse the burn, easy. Not much you can do about, and then I did fail there to keep my 10 stacks, so we're gonna have to go back to that spin build, where we spin to gain the stacks. And we also need to lifesteal in case we need to heal up. Yikes. So that's what happens if you don't use the Cross Slash or Groundbreaker when he charges at you. You're gonna get knocked back, you're gonna get fly up, it's prone to happen, but you get used to it when you practice with your build to not get interrupted. And that's the best part of playing a Berserker. You have so much immunity, but it can also be something that's gonna bite your ass again, because when you get immunity in Chaos Devorak, the projectile that he does that one-shots you might kill you because you can't react fast enough. So be careful with that. But in general, try to use it as an advantage. And now that we have 0 stamina, we're gonna have to use Void Slash to move around as well. And being inside the hitbox when he does the tail attack is gonna make you fall back, or get hit basically. So try to avoid that. Try to stay in range when it comes to using Groundbreaker. And you may notice now, I'm inside his hitbox, he's not going to be able to hit me with fire. Another tip for Fire Dragon. He's not a threat once you learn the mechanics. And you already seen me, you know, taking down roughly 5% of his health. And a recommendation from me when he does that attack where he shakes it off, my recommendation would be dash away with your stamina with the cross slash and then go back in with the void slash. So go back off, void slash back in. That should be enough time for you to actually go back in and engage before he finishes off his attack animation. So right now, wait for him, gonna be right side, ground smash him. Pretty easy. But yeah, I'm gonna leave the dungeon quickly, and I do not wanna finish this off yet. So we're gonna do a quick leave dungeon, and this won't count in for my daily, because obviously the game is very generous, being you know, once you clear something, that's when it counts for the daily dungeon run. So you can practice, you know, even if you haven't gotten your kills or whatever, or even if you have gone or done your 10 daily dungeons or whatever, you can, you know, still practice doing this alone, because playing as a Berserker, you don't have to worry about your potions, you have your bloodlust. So we're gonna go back in, enter it alone, and we're gonna be showcasing a little bit of the Void Slash build. So this might take a little bit longer because I am focusing on trying to build it as good as possible. Yeah, my recommendation would be Void Slash, Death Spin, Darkbreaker, and then obviously keep everything that I had before. And the reason for that is actually I might remove Death Spin, but Death Spin has such a good ability that you can use you know, to move around the boss whenever you need to keep up with the stacks and place a Darkbreaker. But you can always remove your Death Spin. It's going to be on level 1, which makes it a little bit useless, but we do get additional 10 abilities or skill points with the trophies, of course. And I'm not really sure what to spend it on, to be honest. What you could do is, if you want to play a little bit more active, using different skills, for example, let's say you use Darkbreaker every 10 stacks, you keep using Void Slash for your main attack, and then I guess you can go down to the Earthquake path where you can place an Earthquake every 60 seconds. That might work out. So it really depends. As long as you're not going for Dark Might, because that's going to overlap with the 10 stack skill from Darkbreaker, I think it should be fine, because you're not spending any points into Groundbreaker or any other skills such as Blood Price, etc. Let's see, 2 points, I guess we'll do like this. That's the minimum cap. So we maxed out Earthquake. If we are going with this type of build with the Earthquake, I can just showcase. Otherwise, I'll keep my points into Death Spin. That's one of the choices, and then max out my Great Sword Mastery. I would recommend placing them on Deep Wounds as a last ability at level 50 cap. And for that, it's because of the 10% damage over time. This is the, or this is actually my own, I guess, Void Slash build I would recommend. So 0 Death Spin, you can keep it on your hotbar in case you wanna use it for spinning around the boss. Intimidation is not going to be used in this battle. It doesn't work that well with bosses. You would rather wanna save your Dark Aura stacks for the Darkbreaker, obviously. So we'll have that. Void Slash. Alright. I think I'm ready for the battle. I hope I didn't go too fast. you know, or if I'm mumbling too much. If it is, then I apologize before I enter. But yeah, I hope you have enough time. You can pause the video if you want to check out the skill build. For stats, it's strength, so that's about it. So for this time, we're gonna be a little bit limited with the immunity from the knockback when he charges. We don't have Groundbreaker to do that, so the only skill we have is Cross Slash to avoid any knockbacks whenever he charges towards us. Another thing we can do is we're just gonna be standing still majority of the time and use Void Slash. So let's go. Go in, Void Slash. He's gonna start to charge down. Void Slash down. Go back down, cleanse the fire. Wait for him. He's not coming down. We're gonna have to restart with the stacks. He's gonna charge. Go back in, keep smacking. I mean, with this build you're gonna be a little bit more up front because you're always gonna be smacking like this. We have 10 stacks now, but since the boss is moving around, we're not gonna waste the stacks yet. The reason for that is Darkbreaker is obviously a better skill to use when he stands still. So there we go, Darkbreaker. Keep smacking for the 10 stacks. That's all you do, not much. I mean, you don't get to see the high number either, which is fine. And it's more consistent when you're being close up and attacking the boss. Cleanse the fire, go back out, he's coming back down, all good. Place Darkbreaker since he stopped, and then we'll keep spanking with the Void Slash. Earthquake now and then, keep Void Slashing. Life Drain because we're low, we're on 10 stacks now. If you do know that you won't make it, let's say right now, I had only 1 second remaining of it, then you can place a Void Slash just to, you know, not waste your 10 stacks of Dark Aura. You are gonna get it back up, so there's no issue with that. But you may notice the damage over here is fairly low with Void Slash build. I'm only doing 7k per hit in comparison to what I had with my Groundbreaker build, where I kept spamming for pretty high damage, 30k-ish. Lifesteal here, keep stacked out. Place Earthquake, go back to spanking him. 10 stacks, Darkbreaker, and he's running away. So I would not recommend too much about this build, considering that you don't really have much damage output, I would say. I mean, the boss moves a lot when you use the Darkbreaker in this build as well, including you unable to do much of damage when you do the Void Slash. I mean, it looks a little bit more fun as well. You're a little bit more active, swinging a little bit instead of, you know, waiting on your stamina, for example, because I know that stamina or spirit issues with Groundbreaker is a common thing. However, when you play with Void Slash, you don't really have that much of a problem. There we go, Darkbreaker, and then we'll place Earthquake, and you'll see those 10k ticks on the background. I mean, just imagine, like, you're using a skill like Earthquake and Darkbreaker, and those both skills are ticking for 10k damage, and it's only lasting for, let's say, how long does it last? It lasts for 5 seconds, and Darkbreaker lasts for, let's see, how much does it do? It lasts for 5 seconds as well. So there's the tick. I'm not attacking him. he's taking 10k damage, plus we have bleed effect going off for 500 damage. So it's more of a sustained DPS rather than being a burst DPS class. Not my type of playstyle, but if you prefer having, you know, sustained DPS, then feel free to go with this build. You're a little bit mobile as well because of the Void Slash. You have crit, bleed, and you also have Earthquake for the every 60 seconds. And you also have Darkbreaker to use, which ticks for 10k per. Yeah, it ticks for 10k per dot, and this is literally what you do. Pretty similar to Groundbreaker, I guess. The only thing is that you're only gonna be a little bit more stationary. You need to know when to release your button when you use Void Slash, and when to, you know, engage and go back in. But yeah, I think I'm done showcasing a little bit of the rotation. There isn't really much you can do with the builds for Berserker. I'm gonna stay a little bit down here. I mean, you have Void Slash, that's your main ability. You chase the boss, hit them, move around, slightly mobile. You rarely use Death Spin for this build. Darkbreaker whenever you have 10 stacks for that, you know, dot or DOT, and Earthquake every 60 seconds for that DOT. Critical, whenever you crit, you're gonna have that DOT, so that's gonna make up a little bit for the damage you can output, and then lifesteal whenever you can to recover yourself. So yeah, it really depends on what kind of playstyle we like. In my opinion, I prefer Groundbreaker. Everyone loves seeing high numbers. Everyone loves some immunity when you use the attack, and obviously you don't have to waste any other, like, you don't use that many abilities like you do in Void Slash build. In Void Slash build you do have 2 extra abilities that you have to activate every 60 seconds or every 10 stacks to your game. With Groundbreaker, all the work is being done by keeping yourself at 10 stacks, no matter what. Like, you need to have that 10 stacks all the time to maximize your DPS with Groundbreaker. So that's the only difference between those two. You know, try both builds out, see which one you prefer. I would say Groundbreaker is my own, you know, my way of playing. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video regarding Berserker. I don't want to finish this off because it's gonna take way too long. I am gonna make another video though, where I solo Pyros Dragon, and that's gonna take me roughly an hour. So we'll see if you guys will enjoy watching me playing for 1 hour in another video. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be making another video regarding knights eventually. I'm not the main knight, but that's going to be a little bit more in-depth about rotation for the knight. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.